Welcome to the Sydney English Language Academy Orientation slideshow presentation. My name's Paul and today I'll be taking you through that slideshow presentation. First off, don't forget to follow us on all the social media channels here, including Facebook. We've got Instagram, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube. So just keep up to date with all the exciting things that are happening at SELA. Also, before we get started, you'll need to log in to your thin clients or computers. So if you do have a thin client or a computer in front of you, just log in with your student number and your password is your birthday or your date of birth. So for example, if you were born on the 28th of June, 1989, you would put 28061989. So 8 digits altogether. And also you can log into your student portal using the same login credentials. You just need to open up a Chrome browser or perhaps Microsoft Edge, launch it, and you can log in with your student number at sbta.com.au. So that's your SBTA email. And your password, well, that's your date of birth again. So it's, for example, 01, which is the 1st of February 1997. So that's just another example of 8 digits being used for your password. And the student portal actually is really handy and it's really useful because you can access your leave, class information, and also your course dates. So let's start the orientation. Once again, welcome. And thank you for choosing us to study English. We'd like you to learn as much as possible and also really enjoy your time while you're here at SELA. Remember, we are here to help you. So we're all here to help you, and we really want you to enjoy your learning experience. So please ask us if you have any questions at all. So today is day 1 and the enrollment is finished. The test, well, you should have already done an online test, but if you haven't, don't worry. Somebody will give you a link so that you can do the online test on campus. And the orientation, well, that's happening now. So here are the key staff members for you, and we can start down the bottom here with perhaps the most important people, and they are your teachers. So your teachers are the first people you should speak to if you have any questions about anything at all. But if your teacher can't help you, just go to reception and perhaps they can answer the question for you. If reception can't help you, or if reception tells you that you need to speak to the Director of Studies, just make an appointment to speak to the Academic Manager or the Director of Studies, and they can help you with study path advice and any issues not resolved by reception or by your teacher. The Student Services Coordinator might be another person you need to speak to, and reception will tell you if you need to speak to them. Jasmine is our Student Services Coordinator, and she can help you with any attendance problems you may have, student services in general, and any special leave requests. For activities and events, we've got Jolie and Mario, and they take care of any excursions that exist outside of your regular scheduled excursions, which your teachers usually take you on. And marketing, well, the marketing staff or officers can help you with any course changes, fees, or offer letters. So any questions related to your course or any questions related to money that you've paid for your course. Now, assessments or tests. Your teacher will check your level throughout your course. So that means they're always listening and watching to see how you are progressing in class. You will also do a weekly quiz. So we do weekly quizzes every Monday, and they usually test the work that you've done in the previous week, so the week beforehand. The standard of your in-class speaking and participation, plus the results on your end-of-term tests, will determine your class level for the next term of study. So if you do really well on your test at the end of the 5-week term, you might be promoted to a higher level. If you don't do that well, and perhaps your teacher thinks you need some more time at that level, you might spend another term or another 5 weeks at that level. It usually helps to spend about 10 weeks at the same level so that you can really improve and move up to the next level. So it takes students between 5 and 10 weeks to progress from one level to the next, as I said before, and best practice, particularly for students at pre-intermediate or even intermediate level, best practice is about 10 weeks. So it usually takes people about 10 weeks, particularly at that pre-intermediate and intermediate level, to move up to the next level. To start a vet course, well, you'll need to score 75% on your intermediate level test. And that includes in-class speaking and participation and the end-of-term test. If you've already tested at an upper intermediate or even an advanced level, then you are automatically ready for vet. So if you've tested at that level before you've come into SELA, then you're ready for vet. And if you've progressed through the levels and you find yourself sitting in an upper intermediate class or even an advanced class, then you're ready to study at our sister college, SBTA. The books you need depend on your level, okay? So we have cutting edge books for general English. We have ready for IELTS books, and that's for IELTS test preparation. We have expert for Cambridge CAE and FCE. We also have for PET, we have a book which you can get from reception. So PET is a new Cambridge course for intermediate students, and you can get that book from reception. So the book you need really does depend on your level. Photocopiers are available on campus, and every student actually starts with $1 on their photocopy card. But if you want to make extra copies, you'll need to put $10 to make extra copies. Black and white copies cost 20 cents per page, and colored photocopies 40 cents per page. This is the morning timetable, and as you can see here, the morning shift starts at 8:45 and finishes at 2:30, and it goes from Monday through to Thursday, right? So lesson 1 starts at 8:45, lesson 2 at 11, and lesson 3 at 1:30, and there's 20 hours per week of face-to-face tuition in the morning, evening, and on the weekend. We have breaks at 10:45 and a half an hour break at 1 o'clock to have lunch. The evening timetable is basically the mirror image of the morning timetable, and it starts with an elective class that begins at 4:20, finishes at 5:20. Now the elective classes, they are still compulsory. In other words, you still have to go to those classes, but you get to choose between different options like grammar or conversation or even English through meditation. Then there's a break for 10 minutes. The second lesson starts at 5:30 and dinner begins at 7:30 for the evening shift, and then classes finish at 9:40. So there's 20 hours of face-to-face tuition in the evening as well. Remember, there's no classes on Friday for both the morning and the evening shifts. And the weekend shift looks like this. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday is an evening class and it starts at 4:20, so it's similar to the other evening shift. In fact, Friday is exactly the same in terms of the hours, because you have 5 hours of learning or 5 hours of classes starting at 4:20, finishing at 9:40, and 2 breaks in between. One break at 5:20 and another break at 7:30. On Saturday and Sunday, classes go all day between 8:30 and 5 o'clock so that we pack 20 hours of studying into 3 days. The Sydney Thomas Street campus. So for those students who are studying in Sydney, we have a campus on Thomas Street, and it's a really large campus with really spacious classrooms, lots of light in there, but it is 5 minutes away from the main campus, and it's about 5 minutes walk from Central Station. So it's very close to Central Station if you're in Sydney, and it's on level 7 of 187 Thomas Street. As I said, the classrooms are large, and it's really close to Darling Harbour and Chinatown. Some general information now. Your ID cards are available at reception, so your student ID cards, which you can use to put credit on to make photocopies. And your book, well, your book is available at reception, so please see reception to pick up your book on day 2. And attendance, you can check your attendance by logging into the student portal, or just ask the Student Services Coordinator or someone at reception to update you on your overall attendance. The computer rooms are for study or for personal use, and they're available, or they're open from Monday through to Friday between 8:30 and 8 p.m. So they're open all day and even into the evening. And your computer account, well, as I mentioned before, to log in you'll need your student number, and your password is your birthday or your date of birth. Free internet access is available on campus as well. So if you're on the Sydney campus, you can log in with SBTA student 5 gigahertz, and the password is SBTA@2000. Holidays. Now, some of you may already have holidays embedded in your offer, but if you don't, then you can tell us if you want to take a holiday, and you can speak to one of the reception staff, and you can actually take a 1-week holiday or a 1-week vacation after every 10 weeks of study. And public transport, well, you need to pay full fare for public transport. Unfortunately, student tickets are only reserved or are only available for Australian students. So you need to pay full price for public transport. And we do actually have some work opportunities with a partner of ours, JRM, and they are hiring people for hospitality jobs, chefs, all levels, event, wait staff, kitchen hands, baristas, and you can submit your CV to jobs@jrmhospitality.com.au. Look, if you have any problems with your studies, please ask your teacher first. Your teacher should be able to help you straight away, and then the problem doesn't have to go any further. But if your teacher can't help you, see reception and make an appointment to see the Director of Studies. And for anything else, you can see the Student Services Coordinator. So if you have a personal problem that you'd like to speak to someone about, you can speak to the Student Services Coordinator. Your problem will always be kept confidential. You just need to tell us, yeah? We won't tell anyone. You can ask someone else to represent you. So if you don't feel comfortable speaking to the Student Services Coordinator or the Director of Studies, you can ask someone else to represent you. But if you're still unhappy, you can get a complaint form at reception or from our website. And if you're still unhappy, even after you've made the appeal or after you've made the complaint, you can contact an external mediation service such as the Commonwealth Ombudsman. We'd like to think, however, that we can fix problems at this level or even this level. So levels, and this level here, so levels 1, 2, 3, we can usually help you and fix the problem before it gets any worse. If you have any problems in Sydney, remember, speak to your teacher first, the Director of Studies, or the Student Services Coordinator, or anybody else that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. However, if you still have some problems and you'd like to find an external service, we do have some websites here and some companies or organizations that may be able to help you. So Lifeline, if you've got some personal issues, mental health issues, and beyondblue.org.au. And if you've got a problem with your accommodation, for example, if you're renting, you may want to go to New South Wales Fair Trading or the Office of Fair Trading in Queensland. And if you've got other issues that perhaps you feel like you haven't been helped with, in other words, if you still have problems and they haven't been fixed, you can contact the Commonwealth Ombudsman, and that's ombudsman.gov.au. Just look for overseas students. The 3 A's, which are very important whilst you're studying at SELA, are attendance, academic progress, and address, phone number, and email. So let's start with attendance. You're here on a student visa and you're studying as an ELICOS student, which means English Language Intensive courses for overseas students. So your attendance needs to be 80% minimum. If you are sick for 2, 3 or more days, we recommend you go to a doctor and get a medical certificate, and you can keep the original of that medical certificate for yourself and give a copy to reception. Academic progress is the next one. Whilst you are here, you need to study in English to the best of your ability so that your teacher can see some kind of continuous improvement. You can't just come here and do nothing, in other words. So it's not just attendance. And your address and phone number, you need to update us, or you need to tell reception immediately if you change your address or telephone number. Please note, these are not our rules, or these are not just our rules. These are the rules of the Australian government, so we all need to follow them. Student visa rules. If you're not sure whether your visa allows you to work, you can contact the Department of Home Affairs, and that's homeaffairs.gov.au. You can get a tax file number because you'll need a tax file number to work, and you can get it from the ATO, and that's at ato.gov.au. And you can also look for jobs online at seek.com.au, indeed.au, gumtree.com.au, and even the Sydney Morning Herald, especially on Saturdays, has jobs as well. You can even ask people in your class, so your classmates or friends at SELA may have some good advice about how to find work in Australia. Check the notice board as well. There might be some job advertisements on the notice board. Remember, if you're on a student visa, you are here primarily or mainly for studying. But you can work, and you can work up to 48 hours a fortnight, which means across 2 weeks you can work 48 hours, which averages out to be 24 hours per week. Medical insurance. Now, I'm going to speak about a medical centre first because people feel sick sometimes. So if you are not feeling well and you need to see a doctor, there is a medical centre which is very good. It's on George Street if you're in Sydney. If you're in Brisbane or the Gold Coast, then you'll need to ask your teacher or reception where the best place to find a doctor is. So please see reception for more details. And you must, as a student visa holder, always have health cover. Okay, so that's private health insurance for you as a student. You must always have it. And first aid, well, if you have an accident at the school, please just see the nearest staff member and ask them for help. And you must complete an accident report form. If you're not sure what that is, please just ask the Director of Studies or the person that's in charge on campus. Alarms, if you hear an alarm, if you hear a whoop, whoop, if you hear that sound, don't panic. just follow your teacher. All of our staff are trained to deal with emergencies, so please make sure you stay calm and just follow your teacher, and don't use the lifts to exit the building. So do not exit the building using the lifts. You'll need to look for these emergency exit green signs. One more thing, if you see someone who looks as though they're in charge, they are probably the fire warden, and they will guide you out of the building. The emergency exit green signs can be found at the college, and if no one's available, just follow those signs and you can exit the building using the stairs. Accommodation, well, some options include homestay, and most people choose shared accommodation. In other words, they share an apartment, a flat, or a room with other students. So in terms of homestay, if you do have any problems with your homestay accommodation, just speak to reception and they will tell you who the best person to speak to about that is. You can also, for accommodation, visit domain.com.au. You can visit gumtree.com.au. You can even ask your classmates and friends at SELA where the best place to find accommodation is. And weather and climate, well, Sydney and in fact Brisbane, they have hot, humid summers and mild winters. In fact, Brisbane is probably hotter than Sydney, and the winters are quite mild in Brisbane when compared to Sydney. So Brisbane is a bit warmer than Sydney, but both cities are pretty good in terms of the weather, I think. Protect your skin from UV radiation, because the sun in Australia generally is quite hot, especially between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. in summer. And use sunscreen, at least SPF 30 plus we recommend. Your rights at SELA, well, you do have rights, and you can visit sbta.com.au for policies on access and equity, anti-discrimination and harassment, and work health and safety, and even much more. So if you're not sure where those policies are, just see reception and they should be able to help you out. And safety in Sydney and in fact in Brisbane, don't carry large amounts of money, protect your ATM pin, avoid poorly lit areas at night, don't leave valuables unattended, and you can't carry a knife in public, okay? So this is just common sense. I think most of you come from other cities that might be even bigger and more dangerous than Sydney or Brisbane, and Australia generally is quite a safe city. But these are just some tips so that you can stay safe in Australia. Emergency services, well, you can dial 000 for the police, the fire, or the ambulance during a life-threatening situation, and you can ask any of the staff I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation if you have any problems whatsoever. We're all here to help. We have many different people on campus that work with us that can speak many different languages, including Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, Thai, Japanese, Czech, Slovakian, and other languages. So for more information about life in Sydney and in fact in Brisbane, please see your orientation manual. You can pick up a book and student ID tomorrow from reception on level 2. You can even do it today. Some people do it on day 1, but most will do it on day 2. And so tomorrow also you'll find your name on the student notice board, and you'll need to go directly to that class. So the class lists will have all of the students on that list, and everybody is in numerical order. Classes begin at 8:45, and in fact 4:20 in the evening, and on Saturday and Sunday they begin at 8:30 a.m. So you can't see that there, but it's 4:20 in the evening for the evening shift. And even the weekend shift on Friday begins at 4:20 p.m. So that's pretty much it. Look, I hope you found this information helpful and useful. Welcome, once again to the Sydney English Language Academy, otherwise known as SELA. So for those of you that have joined us in our Brisbane campus or perhaps in our Sydney campus, and hopefully in the future in our Gold Coast campus, welcome. We hope you have a great time here, and we're all here to help. Remember, if you have any questions, just ask people, and somebody, I'm sure, will be able to help you. That's pretty much it. Bye for now. My name's Paul, and welcome to SELA.